Good evening. Tonight we recognize, or rather tonight we're having our retirement recognition. Education professionals have to adapt to many changes throughout their careers. Your time with the Portland Public Schools demonstrates that despite these changes, you have all managed to survive these years while maintaining your optimism and the faith of an educator who focuses above all on the teaching and well-being of our students with compassion, determination, and professionalism. We're happy today to be able to pay you this homage and to wish you happiness for the new life that opens up to you. I know my fellow board colleagues join me in thanking you for all you have done for students, parents, and community in this district, and wish you a well-earned, joyous retirement. I now hand this over to the superintendent for the formal recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our Portland Promise makes it clear that our people are our greatest resource and that all of our goals rest on our ability to attract, support, and retain the most talented and diverse group of educators. Today's agenda is packed with items related to this work. We will have a presentation on the recent TNTP survey of faculty and staff, an update on our equity hiring toolkit and what it means for our hiring processes. But we begin with a focus on honoring those people who have contributed years of effort to making the Portland Public Schools a great place to learn, and that's our retirees. Just before the meeting began tonight, we had a reception for these dedicated Portland Public Schools people, and now we're going to formally honor each of them. For each retiree, their principal or other supervisor will tell us a little bit about them, and each will receive a gift, and a book of their choosing will be given to their school library of choice. This is always a bittersweet event as we combine our gratitude for their years of contributions with the realization that as they leave, we are losing years of knowledge, expertise, and commitment. They have made us what we are, and we are forever in their debt. So with that, we're going to begin, and our first school is Rowe.
This is so much fun to start. I get to present Sherm Kendall to all of you folks. Sherm happens to be at the top of our list, but she's on the top of another important list. And that number, that list, is 44. And I would like you all to give a round of applause before I do all of the other things, just because dedicating 44 years to the Portland Public Schools and the children of this district is beyond extraordinary. Sherm Kendall came to Portland Public Schools in 1975, and she worked at North School on Congress Street, took the ferry to Peaks Island for 7 years. She was assigned to Hall School when North School closed, but also taught at Long Island and Cliff every other week. You've done it all in this school district. She has taught at Riverton, Reiki, Nathan Clifford, Lyseth, Baxter School, Presumpscot, Longfellow, Deering High School, Hall, and now has opened Portland's newest building, Rowe. My goodness, Sherm, that is amazing. She has 44 years of service to the Portland Public Schools. If you have ever had a chance to stop by Sherm's classroom, you would see children enthusiastically thinking and creating. Sherm always has these amazing projects going using the most creative materials. I think she single-handedly keeps Ruth Reusables in business. Her commitment to making something from nothing sparks a passion in her students to see the world differently, giving them a fresh look at a piece of trash or discarded material and wondering, what if? Sherm has strong commitment to finding the inner artist in every child. She coaxes even the most timid of young children to think creatively. She creates her own models for each that inspire students to invent new ideas and to solve problems in creative ways. Sherm is always a learner and takes many classes and workshops to keep up in her craft. In fact, she is enrolled in Side by Side Summer Institute this summer. Sherm has been a pillar of Hall Rose School and will be missed greatly by staff, students, and community. Sherm, we wish you the very best in the next phase, and we can't wait to see what you create. Congratulations.
Our next school is East End. Mr. Marley?
Good evening. We have several retirees from East End. Several of them couldn't be here. I just want to acknowledge them. Dee Hoagland, who's one of our lunch ladies and a longtime member of the Mundroy Hill community, will be greatly missed in our community, as will Elle Ivy, who's our librarian and has really held that together. So we're going to be looking for that new leader for our library, and Jan Pelletier, who's a retiring third grade teacher, who's the consummate professional and has had a wonderful long career at East End. Marilyn Melton is here tonight, and Miss Melton has been, so I've been at the school for 7 years, and Miss Melton is probably one of the first ones to greet me when I was there. She was one of the first ones to sort of just embrace me, and has been a real joy. Speaking of joys, she's sneaking up on me. But she's going above and beyond. She's loves literacy, does a book group with families. She communicates. Often, if I don't have a phone number for a parent, she does. She might have 2 or 3 different phone numbers for a parent. She's gone above and beyond. She's raised tens of thousands of dollars through grants for the school. And I like to tell people that she creates the soundtrack for our school, because she has run a wonderful, highly successful Glee program that I am sure it will carry on in very good hands, but it will never be replicated the way that Miss Melton did it. So please join me in recognizing Marilyn Melton.
Thank you, Mr. Marley. King? Ms. LeClaire?
So like Boyd said, this year King is wishing our retirees, we have 3 this year. 2 are able to be with us tonight. Ann Young, Polly Wilson, and our assistant principal, Patricia Crowley-Rockwell. We're wishing them the best of luck and a well-deserved relaxation as they begin a new adventure in their lives. And we are so very grateful for their many years of service, not just to King, but to Portland Public Schools and beyond. So I am going to start with Polly Wilson. Polly has been a teacher in Portland for the past 16 years and a valued member of the King community for the past 3 years. 23. My Intel group got it wrong. So Polly, who was formerly at Deering and Reiki, has been with Portland for the past 23 years and a valued and extremely important member of the King community just for the past 3. We're feeling very fortunate that she ended her career with us. Polly's kind spirit and truly natural ability to build strong relationships with students and staff and families in a way that I haven't seen a lot has strengthened our school community in a short time. And her engaging and innovative approach to teaching science partnered with her collaborative nature, and Polly is the only person in my 3 years as principal who has asked me to have pet snakes in the classroom, have really been true assets to the teaching and learning community at King, and we will really deeply miss Polly and all that she brings. So thank you, Polly.
Thank you.
Our next recognition is for Ann Young. We have also been extremely fortunate to have Ann Young, hopefully I get this number right, as a member of the King crew for the past 16 years. In that time, she has, day in and day out, shown up as an exemplary math teacher at King. She has been a team leader and always, despite how many times she comes to my office, a fierce, fierce advocate for students. Anne has been a math leader at the district level, and her contributions have had a huge impact and will be deeply missed. Anne's spirit and tenacity will sorely be missed, but I have a feeling that Anne will still appear in the office at King Middle School to give me a few ideas about the vision for math at King and Portland Public Schools. So Anne, best of luck on your adventure, and we will miss you.
Thank you. Lincoln School, Ms. Santiago.
I was just telling my teacher that I'm going to honor that I can't look at her. For those of you that have heard me do this before, I have trouble getting through things, so I'm going to try my best, but she has to stand behind me. Okay, I'm just going to look at Javier. It is my honor tonight to celebrate the educational career of Brenda Downs. I'm already doing it. Brenda joined the Lincoln faculty in the year of 2000 and has spent most of her career teaching 6th and 7th grade English language arts. Teaching has changed, but Brenda has embraced every shift and always does what's best for kids.
She's hiding.
I know, it's good. Brenda is more than a teacher at Lincoln. She is an icon. She is the MC of our annual Schools Out 5K, which I'm just going to do a shameless plug, is coming up this Saturday morning at 9. So I encourage you all to come listen to Brenda, cheer on the superintendent and other adult and student runner and walkers. She is the referee and colorful commentator of our annual parent-staff basketball game. She is literally the mastermind behind our United Way Day of Action, organizing students, staff, and volunteers to beautify our school grounds inside and out exactly the way she wants them. She is a chaperone at almost every school dance, every single year, and I'm pretty sure she could run them all by herself. She is always present at students' events, concerts, plays, sporting events. She even performed with a few other teachers last week with our band in the music concert. Over the years, she's welcomed countless parent community volunteers, has served as a mentor to pre-service teachers and teachers new to the profession, has been an active member of our building steering committee, leadership team, and has taken on a variety of formal and informal leadership roles throughout the building. Most importantly, she is our staff social director. She organizes staff dress code days and gatherings and parties and opens her home to all of us and our families. Ms. Downs has impacted countless lives with her unique and special balance of structure, support, and love. She is a beloved friend and colleague to me and our staff, and a favorite teacher to so many. It's hard to imagine Lincoln without her, but she has agreed to sub.
Every day.
And our staff are already making plans to request her, and undoubtedly be fighting over whose classroom I put her in to cover their kids. On behalf of our staff and school community, I wish her nothing but the best.
Okay, Miss Williams-Lyseth.
Thank you, Superintendent Botana. I'm here tonight to honor Mary Linneman. Mary began her career in the Portland Public Schools as a classroom teacher at Riverton 24 years before earning her ELL certification. And Mary, you helped me a lot when it came time for me to work on my certification. Looking for an opportunity to put her new credentials to use, she was offered the opportunity to fill in an ELL teaching position at Ocean Ave mid-year when a vacancy arose there. I think that Mary hit her stride when she came to us as an ELL teacher. I think she found her home, her calling. I really do, Mary. You're a tireless advocate for your students. From Ocean Ave, she made her way to us, where she has been an ELL teacher for 4 years, only 4 short years with me, but I know goodness when I see it. Prior to her service in Portland Public Schools, Mary was at Baxter School for the Deaf and the Scarborough School Department, and she's been an educator for, I don't know if she's going to touch the other gal there, but you're over 40 years. 41. That's pretty darn good. So I know we all wonder what someone does after they've dedicated 41 years of their lives to children, to being that tireless advocate. Well, I did some investigative reporting, Mary. I hope I've got this right. You may have more surprises up your sleeve. She now looks forward to reading more, remaining active in her church community, traveling, and here was the biggest surprise to me, actively pursuing her hobby of bird watching. Is there a name for this? Amateur ornithologist, ornithology? Bird watching. Bird watching. Bird watching. I'm sticking with bird watching. Please join me, everyone, in wishing Mary a long, healthy, and happy retirement, and thanking her for her years of service here to us and to other educational communities. And as a little token, thank you, Mary. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Paths, Mr. Stilfen.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Phil Davinsky, who will be retiring this year. Phil has spent 26 years at PATHS. There's a quote, I'll try to paraphrase, from Robert Kennedy, who talks about men who are people who see things as they are and ask why, and then there are people who see things and say, why not? And I will tell you that if we're going to measure Phil's career, that's how I want to measure it. He started as an ed tech, started in the middle of the year after the current teacher decided that perhaps it wasn't the right place for them. So he goes in middle of the year and he built a program that is as strong as any CTE program in the state of Maine. He's a tireless advocate for his students. He has touched the lives of many students. There are student entrepreneurs in the food service business right now, selling hot dogs on Commercial Street, who went through this program. Too late to turn back. Can't. I've tried everything. You will be missed. Again, it's about legacy. It's about how you've been with kids and the lives that you've impacted and the great things you have done, our great conversations and debates, and your dedication to Portland Arts and Technology High School. I can't say enough good. So again, thank you for all you've done.
Portland High School, Ms. Jepson.
Good evening. I have 3 people to recognize tonight, 2 of whom aren't here, but I would like to recognize them. 2 of our school counselors are retiring this year, Teresa LaPlante and Sue Mullen, who have a combined 55 years of experience in school counseling. So Teresa LaPlante has 38 years as a school counselor, 24 of them at Portland High School. She's led the school counseling department for 5 years. She has a student-centered approach. She does an incredible job with the whole process of helping students transition from 9th grade through high school and then to through the college process. As the guidance leader, I work closely with her on programming and planning, on the details of scheduling and grading, PSAT and SAT planning. She's meticulous and thoughtful. I hear from parents how helpful she has been with their student. She will be very missed. Sue Mullen has been a school counselor for 16 years at Portland High School, and she also helped to lead the department for a few years. Her work with students is clear and focused. Making connections with students and guiding them through the web of high school is her strength. Like all counselors, she juggles many things from organizing AP testing, early college planning with students, and writing college recommendations. Sue also has been the advisor for the sophomore class and for National Honor Society. So I wish them the best. The next retiree is a very difficult one for me to usher out, and Sue Ellen, I will join you in the emotion of this this time. So Kathy Marquis-Gerard is also retiring this year. I met Kathy in 1987 or 1988, one of my first years of teaching when I was teaching at Bonnie Eagle, and she was an instructor at Paths. Who knew we would meet again almost 20 years later, both as assistant principals, she at Moore and I at Deering, and now as an AP at Portland High School. When one looks to take on a principalship, one of the first things to consider is, who are my assistants? And that certainly is and was a huge factor for me to come into a building with a seasoned administrator. Kathy brings her passion for students, her endless advocacy for students, and her knowledge of instructional practices to everything she does. She's on the go from the minute she steps in the door at 7:15 to the hour she leaves the building, which most often is 10 o'clock at night because that's when Elm Street Garage closes and kicks her out of the garage. There were a couple of times she was locked in to the garage. She's articulate, organized, speaks with clarity and emotion, is a great builder, fixer, a fantastic cook and baker. She's definitely spoiled us, and a great event planner. I'm going to miss her sense of humor and her passion for doing right by students. This year, our yearbook staff decided to dedicate the yearbook to Kathy, and I think it's a fitting dedication, which I'd like to share with you. First, I want to just, if you can sort of see the picture of her, and it's with a student, because that's the only way you would see Kathy with a student in the yearbook. Your resume in education spans more than 30 years. It starts with a combined 7 years of teaching in Portland at Paths and King Middle School, 4 years as Assistant Director of Student Services at Maine Vocational Region 10 in Brunswick, 6 years as a Falmouth Middle School Assistant Principal, and a combined 5 years as Freeport Middle School Assistant Principal and then as Principal. We are honored that you are finishing out your career in education in Portland and here at Portland High. As impressive as your resume and accomplishments are, they do not capture your essence or the contributions that you make to our school every day. We will miss most what is your ability to find us the right thing at Ruth's. Your commitment to our school's clothing closet, making sure our students always have the clothing that they need, whether it be for prom, graduation, blue and white day, or most importantly, warm coats, hats, and mittens to protect students from whatever weather a Maine winter might bring. You have worked tirelessly to advocate for the arts and the community of students who join us from all parts of the world. You have made sure that the inside of our school is beautiful and shows how much you value all of our students. We will miss having you in our school every day and hope you will visit us often.
Riverton, Ms. Hannah.
This is Carol Gallagher. Carol started her career in Portland 30 years ago at Riverton in our Functional Life Skills program as an ed tech. And it is hard to believe that she is, after so many years, leaving us. But she is leaving a lasting impression. She is truly a talented kindergarten teacher who was well known at school for her incredible kindness, patience, and care. As a kindergarten teacher, Carol sees the importance of giving her young students real-life experiences. She is famous for her great science lessons that she does with children, including planting seeds and watching celery turn color, but of course, it's the hatching of the duck eggs. Carol is known as the duck mama of Riverton. Each spring, she brings in the duck eggs into her classroom for her students to watch hatch. She keeps the eggs warm and nurtures the young ducklings when they hatch, and then takes them home on the weekend. And I hear she even provides a swimming pool for them to prepare for when they transition to the farm. But anyway, all of us on the staff at Riverton would describe Carol as someone who is incredibly easy to work with. You are truly a team player. When you join Riverton as a new staff member like me, Carol is always the first person to greet you and to really make you feel welcome. She takes care of everyone at the school. One staff member told me that when something is bothering her, whether it's school or life related, that she always comes to you and that you're always calm and collected voice, and you reassure her that things will always be okay in the end. Carol is also admired by our whole staff by being such a hard worker. She's often the first staff member to arrive at school and often the last to leave. But she does a great job of balancing her work life and her home life. And we love hearing the stories of the great adventures on your weekends, or sometimes on those weeknights when Lyle happens to be home playing a show, and then we know that the next day you need that extra cup of tea. Yeah. So I asked some of your former kindergarten students what they liked the most about Mrs. Gallagher, and here's what a few of them said. So Mrs. Gallagher always smiles and she's always nice. She's patient and calm. She doesn't ever get mad. She doesn't yell, and she's not mean at all. In fact, she uses her best manners. Another student says, when we were studying ducks in kindergarten, Mrs. Gallagher let me and my friends set up a special space to read books about the ducklings while we sat together and watched the ducklings. We got to take pictures with the ducklings, and I still have mine. Aww. This student says, thank you, Mrs. Gallagher, for being my teacher in kindergarten. I was not perfect at listening in kindergarten. You are still my favorite teacher. You helped me learn to read. I hope you have a great retirement. There's another one. I love Mrs. Gallagher. She was so nice to me in kindergarten. I don't want her to retire. I want other kids to have her. Why does she have to leave? I'm sad for all the other children that can't have her for a teacher now. But for me, Carol, it has been a joy to work with you. Everyone at Riverton wishes you all the best. You will be missed by your colleagues, the students, the families, and by me. And we are all hoping that you decide to come back and volunteer someday, and that you will bring some of yours and Phil's famous salsa, and of course, that you will bring some ducklings.
And for those who don't know it, Ms. Gallagher and Mr. Davinsky are married, and so this is a spouse retirement for the two of them. Ocean Avenue, Dr. Stevens.
At Ocean Avenue, we're sad to be losing 4 members to retirement. Melinda Arrico left us in March, and she went to have surgery, and she's already missed. We miss her leadership out in recess and her quick ways to help kids move along in a very supportive way. So if Melinda, if you're watching, we really miss you. I'd like to call up Sally Mitchell. Sally has been with the Portland Public Schools for 24 years. Sally has been our art teacher. She helped us transition into Ocean Ave, and she has helped make that a beautiful place. Sally has works with all the kids, and the artwork that they do surprises themselves. It's so gorgeous. It's up on everybody's walls. And not only for each kid, but Sally helps us create these artwork that has everybody involved. Last year, a picture of our school went viral because of how cool the tree was that she made. We are about student agency in our school and kids having their own goals, and Sally had each child write their own goal, whether it was they want to be better at math or I want to be a better big sister, whatever their own personal goal was, and she put it up in front of, it was in the middle of the school. It was just beautiful and inspirational. That's just one of the things she's done. She's brought so much beauty and loveliness to our school, so I really appreciate that. Other teachers also say, Sally, 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 we need you, we need you. Sally is always willing to pitch in with whatever's happening in their classroom, so whether it's portraits that they're doing, because they're talking about this, I believe, as they're leaving our school, or architecture in the 3rd grade, or you've had so many different projects, and so everybody wants you to be involved, and what you've brought to our community meetings has been wonderful too. So you've brought so much to our school, so thank you so very much. Sally's going to go off and be with her 5 granddaughters and spending time on the island with her husband. Next, we have Mary Otto. Mary has been with the Portland Public Schools for a while, but she's only been with us for this year. We were lucky enough to have Mary come be with us as our ed tech for math. It was a big change for Mary, but she embraced it. She came to our school and has helped so many students. She has worked with math. She has a 1st grade writing group that she has transformed. These kids were below level in writing and not so much confidence. They were newcomers, but they now are writing. They've exceeded their expectations. So they are doing a wonderful job, and they meet with her every day for a very short amount of time, and you would change their lives. So kids ask, they say, Mary, can you help me? Mrs. Otto, can you help me with my math? Mrs. Otto, can you help me with my writing? Mrs. Otto, can I have a hug during lunchtime? You have brought grace and such wonderful knowledge to our school this last year that you were here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate having you.
So Mrs. Otto worked at Reiki School for 18 years before going to Ocean. And for us, losing Mrs. Otto was a hardship. It was a gift for your school. Grace is the word that you used. It's a word that we also use. She holds a presence. We'd always have the kids who are a little bit wobbly, the toughest kids, and we'd just go talk to Mrs. Otto, go talk to Mrs. Otto. And those kids would just come to you and have calmness. They felt safe. They felt held emotionally. So one nice thing is, no longer that you are no longer a Portland Public Schools employee, you can be on our sub list. So I will be calling you September 1st, and starting arranging when you're available. But Mary, seriously, thank you so much. You are an absolute blessing.
Mary's going off to take care of her mom in Uganda, so you can't have her. And when she comes back, she's already promised to volunteer for us. For the last retiree, we have Kath O'Connor. So I met Kath back at Clifford School. She came to interview to be an ed tech for us. And she was coming from a law profession, and she was invested 100% in coming to school and helping kids. And it's been wonderful to have you help so many kids learn to read. We had to bump around her whether we had funding or not. Kath was always there for us when we did, so appreciate that. She bumped over to Saco for a little bit, and they were lucky enough to have her there, but we got her back. She has finished her EL endorsement. She's been an EL teacher with us for half-time for the last couple of years, 4 years. But it's not, she's there way often than half-time. The commitment that she has to kids is wonderful, and the knowledge that she brings to helping them. So we've had students who are maybe not on track to meet their goals for access, but that doesn't matter because Kath is going to get them through. She ensures it. We only had, out of the almost 100 kids that we had last year, only 6 kids didn't meet their access goal, but they doubled, each one of them doubled the kids that were still at our schools, and Kath was a part of that. She comes up with plans that you're going to meet with the principal every day, or you're going to come and meet with me every day. So she has goals and targets for kids that they buy into, and it makes a difference. These kids are learning fast and furious. So you are going to be missed at our school. The leadership that you bring to the EL team and your ability to partner with classroom teachers. 5th grade teachers started fighting over her this year to come in my class to help lift the vocabulary and the academic talk. It has been tremendous, and I know the 5th grade teachers and the other people who have worked with you so very much enjoy. You have lifted their skills, and they're going to be able to bring that for the next years that they're in education, so you're still helping, even if you're retiring. So we will miss you. Kath is going off to Scotland to visit her son in the fall. Won't be here at the beginning of the school year.
Thank you. Presumpscot School and Ms. Crocker.
So I'm going to turn the tables for this one because it is just daunting for me to think for 1 minute that I can do justice to this exemplary leader and teacher and educator. So I'm going to challenge as many of you as feel comfortable to share an adjective, a short phrase, a sentence, a short story. And I'm going to give you just a minute to think because we need to wrap our arms around this lady as we send her off into amazing travels. We are like-minded this way and look forward to spending time with family in places that are exciting and scattered throughout the world. However, in the time that Cindy has been with us, there is nothing that she has not done for this school district. She has been a teacher, of course, for many years at Reiki a little bit, and then at Lyseth for quite a long time. She was assistant principal at Moore, again, for a good, solid chunk of time. And we will always think of Cindy as the strongest, most competent, fierce advocate for Presumpscot School, the staff and the students that one could ever imagine. I'm going to open it up now. Who's got something to add? Sue Ellen, I'm looking at you, so get going.
So Cindy is probably my daughter's favorite teacher. So Jessica was at Lyseth School, and Cindy's also a good friend of mine. So thanks.
Cindy was a wonderful mentor, a fantastic teacher, and without probably your support, she may never have moved on that.
I remember a time when I was working with you at Presumpscot a number of years ago, and your patience with young students. I was remarkable when you run around and you don't have an assistant principal. I know how important that is, but you were just amazing and wonderful with that student. And so impressive.
I've worked with Cindy for many years at Presumpscot and dedicated. I've never worked with somebody more dedicated with her students, and she would come to school dressed in that she always did. She would sit in the middle of the hallway with them or sit in a classroom on the floor, just
When I told my 2 adult children tonight that Mrs. Loring was retiring, both of them looked at me and said, "No way!" And they were really excited to see you tonight, Cindy.
I think they said that because it's not possible, she's not old enough.
I know.
I'd just like to say that what I've learned from you, Cindy, the time that I've been a colleague in the Portland Public Schools, is that you walk the walk when it comes to believing that every child can succeed and learn at the highest level. That's what I've learned from you, is that there's an attitude of no failure, never, at any time, for any student, no matter what their circumstances. So thank you for that lesson. I appreciate it.
Hi, Cindy, you've been an incredible mentor to me, and I wish I had like one superpower, let alone the many superpowers that you have that touch your entire school community and our entire.
Oh, one more thing, you won't need your work clothes any longer.
Model as we became a Title I school, your leadership has helped our school grow. So thank you so much.
in that same night. You mentored us at Peach, and I figured out social emotional learning. And granted, it's not just your wisdom, but we're grateful you check it every year. And I think about the work effect of what you've done for the school and your social learning, particularly beyond the school level. And it's always been my
I've had the great pleasure of getting to work with you, but also be a parent at your school. And among the many things that you bring to that is just tremendous respect for every single caregiver in the building. And I watch it unfold, and it helps create just this environment that makes everyone really feel welcome and loved in our tiny little amazing, place in Portland. And so I'm so grateful for that. In addition to getting to work.
And we've been, when we stepped into our role at PPS lead teachers, we've been the most welcoming colleagues and mentors to me personally. And knowing some of your staff, I know you walk the walk, you have high expectations for students, but that staff, the people I know, you have been such a beautiful balance of expectations and support and just love for that staff and that school students. And I would just echo what everybody else has said. Thank you for all that you have taught me. And the one thing I would say that I've learned the most from you is just how you raise fellowship.
So on the opposite side of the spectrum, I don't know if I know this, but I know somebody who interviewed in the past few years with you as a friend, and although they wound up working someplace else in the district, that's been great. Well, that position wasn't separate for them. So they spent 40 minutes with you, and I went out to dinner with them some weeks after, and just asked how they got on, and they said they had actually been in a different position, but that they could tell from those 40 minutes how wonderful you were, and that they wished that they had more time to spend with you. So even 40 minutes you had a strong effect on them. And reference that a couple times.
Can I say one quick thing? I first met Cindy in a meeting of parents from from several elementary schools across the district at Presumpscot, and we were all introducing ourselves and our children, and we got to Cindy, and she said, well, how can I possibly introduce all of my students? And it was just so clear to me in that moment, the deep care that she had for each and every student. It literally brought tears to my eyes, and I instantaneously recognized what an incredible leader you are. Thank you so much.
In the Educator's Dictionary, Cindy is the superlative on every page. she is irreplaceable at Presumpscot, and so far that happens to be the absolute truth. Anybody know anyone, let me know. Presumpscot School will always be Cindy Loring's school. You have touched the lives of your staff members over the years, your parents, and especially the children, and they are forever better people, better teachers, better parents, better community members, better readers, better players, better singers, better everything, because you believed in them and you pushed them to even greater things. You are indeed irreplaceable, and we are in your debt.
Next, I would like to recognize Sue Olafson. Sue, do you want to come on up? Sue's a smart cookie. She was one of the first people to reach out to me after I was appointed superintendent, but before she did that, she reached out to the president of the union in my previous district. After checking me out, she contacted me to say that she'd heard good things about me, but she wanted to give me the lay of the land in Portland. Thus began my training. For the past 3 years, Sue has been a tireless advocate for the Portland Public Schools. Notice that I did not say that she's been a tireless advocate for her membership or the PA or the union, because Sue is much more than that. Sue has dedicated over 20 years of her career to the Portland Public Schools, and her loyalty lies not with the union, not with any specific agenda item, but with ensuring that the Portland Public Schools remain a great place to learn. In those 20-plus years, Sue has been a social studies teacher, a coach, a district leader helping to develop and operationalize a professional learning-based salary structure, lead negotiator for the PA, and for the past 5 years, the PA president. She has dedicated herself in that time to elevating the status of the profession in the service of students. In our biweekly meetings for the past 3 years, I've been able to count on hearing the unadulterated truth from Sue. It hasn't always been easy to hear, and I can safely say that from Sue's perspective, I haven't listened as carefully as I should or haven't understood the message right. But it never kept her from trying, from continuing her advocacy, or from recognizing when we were parting ways and agreeing to disagree. As you retire, Sue, know that you've made a difference in my life, in my understanding of PPS, and in my respect for the institutions and the people in them, and the work that they do. I know that I speak for everyone on my team, I think for everybody in this room, when I say that we're grateful to you for your mentorship, your patience, your perseverance, and above all, your commitment to the Portland Public Schools. Thank you. I'm going to do the next one from here. Oh, sorry. I'm not. Thank you, Jen. Deb, please.
Olivia. So I have the pleasure tonight to speak on behalf of, to speak in recognition of Olivia Soledar and her vast and eclectic career in education, the past 23 years of which have been in Portland Public Schools. Olivia is originally from Pittsburgh. She began her career as a teacher in Kentucky. She was a teacher of the deaf. She earned her master's degree in California, and then she came to Maine to serve as the principal for the Baxter School at Mackworth Island. I'm getting to the eclectic part. After that, Olivia worked another 7 years as a consultant for the Maine Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. And then she came to Portland in 1996 to work at Longfellow School in the role of learning strategist. Since coming to Portland, Olivia has served in a variety of roles, all of them in special education. Among these roles, Olivia has been the coordinator of private school placements, our out-of-district coordinator, and has provided oversight of our life skill programs. Olivia is a strong advocate for students with disabilities and holds a special place in her heart for students who are deaf or hard of hearing and their families. Tonight, though, I would like to focus on Olivia's human connection with staff and coworkers and the relationships that she has nurtured and maintained throughout her years in Portland. Olivia makes it her mission to recognize colleagues. She brings us gifts of food on Purim. She takes a personal interest in people's trials and their celebrations. If someone needs comfort, reassurance, or support, they can depend on Olivia to provide it. Olivia doesn't just do this at central office. She is well known around our district as someone who will take the time to listen and to care. Olivia, it is this quality and a gift that I will always remember and treasure most for you. We are lucky to have had you in Portland Public Schools these past 23 years, and we wish you all the best in your retirement.
I met Jeannie Crocker about 3 years ago when I was interviewing for the superintendent position. As we met one-on-one in her office, I asked her what she planned to do after the new superintendent was hired. She smiled and told me that she would love to go back to what she had been doing prior to becoming interim superintendent, supporting principals, because that's what Jeannie is at her happiest and at her best. She's a principal's principal. Jeannie started her career as a world language teacher in Waterville and in Wyndham. At the time, there were a lot of French teachers and not so many Spanish teachers, so that's where the jobs were. She eventually moved to South Portland High, and that is where she spent the bulk of her career as a teacher first, as an assistant principal, and eventually becoming the longtime and beloved principal of South Portland High School. She was selected as the Maine Principal of the Year in 2003. She retired from South Portland High School in 2011 and went to the Maine's Principal Association, where, among other accomplishments, she started the Unum-funded Educational Leaders Experience, which is now in its 5th, 6th class, and has been a successful networking opportunity and a training ground for educational leaders throughout the state. And we have several people who have gone through the Educational Leaders Program in this room today. In 2014, Superintendent Manny Koch recruited Jeannie to help support Portland Public Schools principal. This part-time work eventually became the Director of School Management position, and in 2016, the Assistant Superintendent position that she's retiring from this year. I recognized early on that Jeannie was an anchor of stability in an otherwise turbulent district. Her relationship and deep knowledge of the district belied the fact that she had only been here for a couple of years before becoming the interim superintendent. Malia Nally, our assistant superintendent for teaching and learning, dubbed me recently as, I quote, literally the worst recruiter in the world, end quote. I tend to agree with Malia on just about everything. So maybe it's just the old saying that even a broken clock is right twice a day at work with me, but I'm incredibly proud that not only was I able to keep Jeannie in Portland Public Schools, but I was able to keep her from retiring for the past 2 years. So, not the worst recruiter. During that time, she's been a trusted mentor and friend. Whenever I'm uncertain in what to do, I know that I can turn to Jeannie and that she will help me to sort through it. Whenever the path seems clear, I can turn to Jeannie and she will help me to understand if I'm missing the pitfalls. Whenever I'm missing critical feedback, she'll amplify it and help me to listen more carefully. I'm so grateful for all that you've given me and the Portland Public Schools. Your kindness, your intelligence, your soundness of mind and purpose have been an inspiration and reassurance every day. I hope that you will still be there for me, for us, as we move forward, to always remind us what is most important and keep us moving in the right direction. I also hope that you'll be able to sleep in the mornings. Although I'll miss the weather and road reporting on those early mornings at 4 a.m. in the winter when we're lumbering up to decide whether to hold school, and you've been at the office for 2.5 hours. And I hope that you'll be able to go on vacations without coming back to 6,000 emails. Jeannie, we will have several other opportunities to honor you in the coming weeks, but none is as public and far-reaching as tonight's. So on behalf of the children of the Portland Public Schools, indeed the children of Maine, the thousands and thousands of children that you've helped over your career, and their parents and communities, on behalf of the board and your colleagues on the cabinet, on behalf of our principals, on your principals, your assistant principals, and teachers, and most certainly from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that you've given us. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
That concludes our retirement recognition for tonight. Thank you all for coming here, and of course, thank you all for the accumulative, I can't imagine how many years of service to Portland Public Schools and elsewhere, the thousands of children that you've helped and the families that you've touched. I'm sure we'll all remember you forever, and I certainly hope that you enjoy your retirement. Thank you.